which can be confusing. It is certainly for me. Right, now I think I'm carrying on from where I was last week. So those of you who will recall, those of you who were here last week, will remember that my stream ended, not abruptly, but it ended last week with the arrival of Neil Renison from Tin Man Games. He's the creative director of Tin Man Games, and you know, effectively the creator of this game. So it was really nice to have him drop in at the end of the stream, even if it was by accident. And I recorded an interview with him for Lave Radio. We do a show called Remote Outpost Games where we get various people, normally game developers to be honest, to come on and pick their kind of top 5 games. So yeah, I'm currently editing that podcast and that should be out soon. So do head over to laveradio.com and check out Remote Outpost Games for that series, because I really like doing it, and people seem to tell me that it's interesting. So hopefully that's the case. Right, we're resuming. So we got a little bit further. Did not have complete luck, as I recall. Took me a couple of attempts to do this battle, mostly because of my own stupidity, to be honest, more than anything else. So I basically have a choice of a north or an east set of stairs. Let's go north. I have no reason not to. Okay, cool. Walking up the steps, you cautiously enter a small rocky room that contains 3 beds, a table, and some bookshelves. Okay, we will rest. There is no reason to spend any provisions. Only 2 hit points down. Let's have a look around the room. The beds are perfectly made and the books that fill the shelves are lined up neatly. This room feels very strange in the middle of a goblin lair. Pick out a book. Most of the books appear to be about arcane summoning rituals using elements such as earth, wind and fire. One book does catch your eye, however, a hefty tome called The Theory of Particle Blenders by an author called Renelson. You flick through the pages, which lay out pictures and paintings for the construction of something called a machine. This machine can apparently take an item and break it down into items called particles. This must be the room belonging to the acolytes, and this must have something to do with those powdered rats. You feel like you could get totally engrossed in this book, but you have a warlock to find. You place it in your backpack so you can read at a later date. Okay, let's have a look. Is it in there? Particle blenders. Wow, okay. You return back to room you were in previously. I might just flag that one. Take a screenshot of that for Neil. He was very pleased last week when I was off the record pointing out typos to him. I'm sure you can imagine how that went down. No, he was pleased. He was happy for people to spot these things. Oh wow, look at these. 2 bird-like statues loom over you. They certainly do. Interesting. You climb up 2 sets of steps before finally encountering a large room. A sheer rock face stands before you with a goblin tower looming down ominously from above. Turning, you see what look like 2 very large bird-like statues. Between them, a stone bridge leads off into darkness. You look closely at the statues. They appear to have been carved out of the rock itself and appear like ostrich-like birds with hooked beaks, stubby wings and wide clawed feet. From your education, you are pretty sure that these are flying guardians, usually erected to watch over tombs of importance in the northern province of Chiang Mai. You also know that things can come to life, protecting their domains. Leave quickly! As you step on the bridge, you hear the sound of stone crunching against stone, and the 2 bird-like statues turn to face you. They open their stony beaks, and loud croaks begin to echo around the chamber. Within moments they shed their rocky appearance. Pieces of stone fall into the floor. Standing before you are 2 large brown-coloured guardians with pink necks and heads. I'm not sure these flying guardians will be able to fly. Look at those wings! The 2 creatures begin shuffling towards you, and you draw your weapon. It appears that you will need to defeat them in order to access the inner sanctum of the mountain. Okay, new minis. Ooh, turning ominously to fight me. Now, remind me, what have I got? I've got Ethereal Feint. No, don't do that. I've got Attack on Blindside, and I've got Attack Right. So, these are big creatures. They're on oversized bases. They're probably going to move forward. So, why don't I just move sideways? Discretion being the better part of Valor. And they were defending. Right, they're attacking. I wonder if it has reach. It does not have reach. Nope, he's guarded. It's a shame. I'll try the blindside. Right, they're now both attacking, which could be better. Oh. I haven't quite yet learned how to judge how blindside works. You attack and move kind of, adjacent. These guarding attacks are really annoying. Gonna make me roll for it. That's a pretty good roll. It's one down. Ow. No, you see, that's not... See, I don't know, like I say, I can't quite figure out with blindside what determines which direction you're going to go in. Does she always move to the right? Okay, so rate stamina down. You breathe a sigh of relief. It appears that the last obstacle is out of the way and you can now cross the bridge into the mountain. Oh, that's a hot cup of tea! Okay. You cross the bridge and enter a narrow gully in a rock wall. Squeezing through a tight gap, you find yourself in a long rocky corridor that heads towards the east. Another path runs north, through an archway held up by two pillars. Continue northwards or follow the passage to the east. We went north last time, so let's go east. Oh, something's happening. Okay, we're here. You cross the bridge and enter a narrow gully in a rock wall. Squeezing through a tight gap, you find yourself in a long rocky corridor that heads towards the east. Another path runs north through an archway held up by two pillars. You cautiously continue down the rocky corridor and stop in front of an open portcullis entrance built into the stone. Okay, we're back in... Retmock! Hello, welcome to the stream. We are now back in the familiar... mountain. So this is the troll. Retmock. Damn it, I'm late. I actually started earlier. I'm making an effort to move the start time of the stream back to 8:30. For no apparently good reasons. Let me just do a move. Okay. So that time she moved to the left. Okay, not too difficult. Okay, we have the bull amulet. Yes. Okay. So we found a Zagor key. So yes, interestingly enough, having kind of Retmark, 8:30 streams are better for me. There's a reason. Well, do tell. What is your reason? So yeah, I'm imagining that having come into the mountain kind of late, that actually there's going to be keys in most of the places we'd expect to find keys. Do I do this loop? I'm going to see if I can double back. Actually, dare I? No. Enter the cavern. Now I can't remember what I've got. I seem to remember having a lot of things. Oh, I've got 3 potions. That's it. I've got 3 potions of strength. Okay. As you enter the cavern, you hear loud footsteps behind you, crunching heavily on the rocky floor. You crouch down beside an entrance in a small alcove. The steps get louder, and you see a great ogre enter the cavern. He stands over 2 meters tall and is dressed in ill-fitting garments made from some sort of hide. He carries a large wooden club. Oh, no, I meant you said there was no reason for starting the stream at 8:30. I was saying that me wanting an 8:30 stream is a reason for you to start earlier. Oh, okay, no big reason. Yeah, no. I do kind of have a reason. It's because the last thing I have to do on a Wednesday night before I do my stream is put my daughter to bed. And actually, I think sometimes aiming for a 9 o'clock stream, it means that I'm kind of maybe a little bit more lenient when it comes to bedtime. Whereas actually, she should be in bed much before that. So if I can say, well, look, I'm leaving you in bed at 8:30. You need to concentrate. Then she kind of gets that. So that's good. Okay, let's just fight the ogre. How old is my daughter? She's 3. So yes, well and truly should be in bed by 8:30. So there is a kind of logic to which way blindside moves. Obviously she couldn't move right, so you know, that seems kind of fair. Good roll. Okay. Okay, let's go through this cave, even though I know it is full of spiders and opportunities for certain death. You enter a large cavern with a natural pool of water. Stalagmites have formed naturally, rising from the floor. There are a number of exits, some of which are blocked. While you have surveyed the area, you have failed to notice the 3 Firetop spiders, which are now almost on top of you. Their mandibles glisten as they close in, eager for a feast. By the way, I'm glad to see you're streaming this DLC. I was wondering what it looked like. There seems to be quite a bit of content with it. Yes, this is exactly the wrong moment to be talking about the new content in the DLC, because this is the point where we've rejoined the original game. So, yeah, that's kind of a shame. But yes, there is, as you may have seen from last week's stream. I don't know if you caught up with that. Yeah, there's a massive amount of content. I mean, the DLC is only something like $3.99, and actually it contains like a whole new area, 3 new characters, a whole kind of new storyline for each of those 3 characters, all set within that new area. And then on top of that, which I might look at when this run finishes, there's the you did watch the VOD. Oh, brilliant! I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, there's the whole thing about you can fight through the mountain as one of the monsters from the game, which I'm really interested in looking at. It was funny talking to Neil last week, the interview from Outpost Games. I don't want to kind of spoiler it, but we were talking about sort of fighting through the mountain as one of the monsters, and we were saying about how they just decided they weren't going to try and rewrite the whole story from a monster's point of view, because a monster's point of view is quite single-minded, and I sort of had images of like the giant rats quest just being pages and pages of text that said, cheese this way? No cheese this way. Cheese this way? No cheese this way. And that being the kind of extent of the giant rat's motivation for the game. So the East Passage is covered with thick webs. Now the East Passage is instant death, so let's not click on Go East. Let's go this way. You have to forgive me if I'm really impatient with this section. Having written a community guide for the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, I am very familiar. Oh, why did I reroll? There you go, 6. I'm very aware of what happens in this area. Okay. You squeeze through a narrow cave full of assorted rock columns. A sudden shaking causes you to stumble, and you look up at the ceiling of the cavern. Stalactites are hanging from the ceiling, but it looks like they're about to fall at any second. Suddenly, one directly falls in front of you and shatters to the ground. This is actually quite a good little area for this character because she's got such high skill. I'm not going to say any numbers tonight. I've learned this lesson. If I say numbers, my dice can hear me. So I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope for the best. You enter the cavern and look around to see dozens of stalactites and stalagmites bordering the perimeter. Numerous drips can be heard. Yes. In the far corner is a very large sticky cobweb. It is littered with bones and other detritus, presumably from unwary victims of the creature that calls it home. Near the back of the cavern you also come across a pair of boots, which seem to have been made quite recently. Continue investigating the cavern, try on the boots, or leave the cavern through the southeast passage. Remok, I don't know how you remember it. My memory is really crap. Every time I play, I forget what I learned the time before. Well, I can tell you from having done a number of experiments with the spider chamber that if we try on the boots, that is a minus skill penalty, and the giant spider attacks us and we have to do the fight with the giant spider at a -1 penalty. If we continue investigating the cavern, the giant spider comes and we have to fight the giant spider. I know this because one of the characters, his quest is to fight and capture the giant spider. So you have to really kind of understand this area in order to be able to complete that quest. So let's continue investigating. I mean, there you go. There it is. Woo! That's interesting. So yeah, it does look like Blindside moves in a kind of logical direction. (11v8). Yeah, it's pretty good. There we go. Okay, continuing through the passage. Right, you stoop to enter a smaller cave, but thankfully you can stand properly once inside. Cobwebs thread across the walls, floor and ceiling, and you can't help but feel incredibly unsafe. There are multiple tunnels leading off, with some that appear blocked. The west passage is covered with thick webs, and there appears to be movement inside. The only other thing in this cave is the corpse of a goblin. It is partially wrapped in webbing. I seem to remember searching the body does bad things. So let's just keep going. You enter a large stony cavern with stalagmites rising from the floor. Aside from the tunnel you just entered, there is another tunnel leading out of the cavern. Sinister-looking cobwebs cover the floor and walls. Two goblins are facing the tunnel you have just come out of. They seem to be arguing with each other over who is to go in first and do not seem to have noticed you. No, Gnurg, you first. I know Thez dead, you go. Boss say, me boss. You first. Me keep lookout. The pair are so busy with their argument you could quite easily ambush them. There's no point talking to them because they're... So this spider cave you can get into from two directions, and if you come in from the other direction you can take a quest from them and do something cool in the cave, but there's not really much point, so let's just talk to them and they'll pretty much bugger off. Right, have you still got the 2 maze jumpers? Yes, I do. I still have the 2 maze jumpers and the 3 potions of strength. A little bit OP at this point. Now, let's go south. Yes. Yes. Now, I'm a bit worried at this point that I think maybe what I should have done... Yes, I should have confronted Robin of Ormond, the Master of Earth. I've actually done this wrong. So I'm going to use a Resurrection Stone and I'm going to head back to the last bench. Which means I'll have to fight the 2 Bird Guardians, but I took a wrong turn. And what I need to do... What I need to do is instead of heading east, I should have headed north, which is into the School of Magic, basically. I sort of half recognise the passage. Let's just cross the stone bridge. So examining or running doesn't make any difference. They still attack you. Retmark, so what is the point of 2 of them? I got the impression from the developer that there was a reason. Possibly. Maybe I haven't got that far yet. Retmark, I guess you can get gold for one of them. Yeah, I can make quite a bit of gold selling them. I don't know if that's the whole of the reason. No, you see, now that wasn't a logical way to move, because I'm now basically still in front of the thing. Yeah, that's annoying. Oh, well, he was countering anyway. Come on, 11v6. That's a good roll. Versus Snake Eyes. Okay. It's that. Across the bridge. Now we're in this area. Now, if I'd looked at it, I might have recognised it, but it's a fairly generic corridor. So we're going to continue. We're going to go northwards. And this is the School of Magic. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to attempt to sneak, because I do not have the magic words. Chomp! The hungry doors crash down and you dive out of the way to avoid them. However, you are not quite so lucky and they graze you as you make it through. That's fine, there's a bench. Okay. So this is the School of Magic. Now I can't remember if that's a door I need to go through or not. I certainly don't want to fall off. That would be bad. Let's do it just in case. Oh. You walk westwards along the passageway. As you approach a door at the end of the passageway, a large rat scurries in front of you, and you hear a crumbling noise. The ground beneath the rat begins to give way, sending it into the pit below. That could easily have been you. How lucky. Oh no, so you can't go through that door. That's fine then. I thought maybe the Master of Earth might be in that direction. The passage turns to the left and a wooden door trimmed in iron sits in the east wall. Various inscriptions adorn the door, but none makes any sense to you. You listen but hear nothing. Open the door. This is the Master of Earth! Yay! As you push open the door, scents of earth and grass waft towards you. You enter the room and close the door behind you, following the steps down to the room. In the centre of the room floats a large ball of rock that glows with an ethereal energy. At the other side of the room is someone in a green globe with golden trim, hunched over a bench. I wonder if this Master of Elements might know what is happening to me. Suddenly, a gigantic stone hand appears and rushes to attack you. The Master of Earth turns around, annoyed. How dare you enter Robin of Ormond's domain? Leave now, or you shall regret it. Attack the stone hand. Typical adventurers, always poking their nose in where they don't belong. Alright. Can I not attack? Oh, I want to attack that space. That's annoying. No, that was stupid. There we go. Good roll? Good roll. What's he got? He's got 2. Let's blindside. Oh dear, didn't work. Oh well. Pretty good. With a final attack, you shatter the stone hand into pieces. They crumble into dust. The Master of Earth looks at the remains and sighs. Months of work gone. Magical creations don't grow on trees, you know. What do you want, anyway? I wonder if this magician knows anything about our plight in Darkwood Forest. Darkwood Forest is being sapped of its very essence and dying. Oh, this is still dialogue. Darkwood Forest is being sapped of its very essence and is dying. You are the Master of Earth. Surely you must know something. The Master of Earth furrows his brow and thinks, Zagor is the ultimate master of elemental magic. If he has set his sight on Darkwood Forest in his unending lust for power, there is trouble afoot. Well, that isn't good. So I need to kill Zagor, of course. Whoop whoop, Chivos. Hey Tony, hey mate. Half listening, half watching the footy. I can try and commentate on the football as well. But I can't see what's going on. Man kicks ball. Ball moves across field. Ball goes to another man. Man kicks the ball. Then another man has the ball. Is that roughly what's going on right now? Anyway. Retmark, I find it a bit quick to see what happens after the dice roll. What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Retmark? I'm not sure 100% what you mean by that. Okay, let's just check the Chivos. Oh, to see both players' dice and the movement of the pieces. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It is a lot to take in. So that was a new one. What was that one called? Groundbreaking News. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping... Oh, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Speak to Robin of Ormond, Master of Earth, as Ophelia Lapwing. So I'm kind of hoping... Yeah, Tony, about right. Yeah, so I'm hoping that this DLC is going to wrap up the last of the achievements, because there's about 9 achievements that you couldn't unlock previously. So I'm hoping that the DLC is going to wrap all of those up. Retmark, I find myself seeing my dice and missing whether the pieces shake or not. Yeah, and actually, not the miniatures. Some of the miniatures don't shake when they're about to attack. I don't know if that's a bug or whether that's a deliberate design thing, but things like the giant rats don't shake when they're about to attack. So yeah, that's a thing. Right. Okay, so that was Ophelia's quest. So really, at this point, we are just pressing on and we are basically just pressing on and trying to kill Zagor. You open the door with some difficulty. Gusts of wind breeze past your face as you enter, and the door slams shut behind you. You enter what must be the home of a master of air, a sorcerer who dabbles in the arcane lore from the elemental plane of air. A master of the elements, I wonder if she could help me with my condition. You walk over to who you assume is the master of air. A pet hawk is perched on her arm, and she wears a pair of fine glasses. She greets you. Ah, another would-be adventurer come to destroy Zagor. I really don't bother with adventurers, but the maze should finish you off. Unless you know anything about a bronze amulet dedicated to the cult of Barbarius, you have no business here. Oh, I don't have the bull amulet, because that was before I... that was before I did a rewind. Is it worth going and seeing the Master of Fire? Tony, Retmark would like to know, what football are you watching? So this is a service. This is a service that I'm offering. liaising between chatters who are not all watching the stream. Cautiously, you climb the stairs upwards. You open the door and immediately hit in the face by a blast of heat. Yes, 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 yes. Oh! I should have read that, maybe. Let's go back and read it. Suddenly, 2 huge creatures pound towards you. They are monstrous lizard-like beasts, their scales shining and shimmering from the flames all across their bodies. They sweep their huge tails left and right, knocking over pots and spellbooks. These are salamanders, creatures constructed entirely from fire magic. Fire needs to fight fire, I think. As soon as those words enter your head, you hear the whispering. It grows in intensity, and in your mind's eye, you hear the snapping of a whip as a dark form embraces you. Flames instantly lick up your body. The Liverpool match. Okay. So this is good. So we've come into this fight as the fire creature that we transform into, which means we are not going to be affected by the... Oh, that means I've got different attacks. It means we're not going to be affected by flame damage, essentially. It's annoying. Right, 11v9. Yep, it's good. No. Redmock says, is it any good? Not that I will leave the stream if you say it is good. Are you a Liverpool fan? I'm fairly certain Tony is a die-hard Leicester supporter, aren't you, Tony? Oops. I'm following you. There we go. So 11v9, just need a good roll. It's good. Leicester fan, you see? I called it. Season ticket holder for over 10 years. 10 years. With your finishing move, the last salamander, it gives a guttural roar and its fire extinguishes. It stops moving and turns grey, then explodes into ash. You also quickly extinguish and collapse to the floor, returning once more to Ophelia Lapwing. Surely the Master of Fire is impressed with that. I might not like it, but I feel I am regaining some form of control over this entity. An old man in red and gold robes who is standing in the corner of the room runs towards you. He is clearly angry. What do you think you're doing? It took hours to conjure those beasts. Hours! You apologise, but insist that it was in self-defence. I can't just have a fire demon dance into my room and destroy all my hard work, he continues angrily. Fire demon? Did he just call me a fire demon? These creatures usually dwell in the abyss. How could I be one of them? Who knows, says the Master of Fire, sensing your thoughts. Perhaps you're here visiting our corporeal realm. Anger wells up in your chest. I am no fire deep, you start to say, but the Master turns his back on you and reaches into a display case. Here, he says, tossing you a rolled up piece of parchment. Read this. It talks of your kind. You unfurl the scroll and read the contents. It mostly deals with lesser demons, of which the classic fire demon is one. They generally carry a whip and shoot streams of fire from their nostrils. Well, this confirms the strange presence that whispers to me when I turn, but it does not explain why I am turning. Tony, been there with the downs as well as the ups. Remark. Yeah, I guess there must be a few so-called Leicester fans around at the moment. Success does that. The Master carries on with his valuable work. With no more business here, you take a fire vial on your way out. He has dozens of them. I am no fire demon, but something isn't right and I need to get to the bottom of it. You return back to the junction. I'm trying to think if there's any good reason to go and talk to this guy. I've forgotten. It's been such a long time. The door opens into a long, thin room with two alcoves. Yes, yes. This is the guy that gives us... I wonder if this fellow knows why I keep turning into a human fireball. The old man says nothing as you walk in through the door, but he beckons you to sit down at the table. Ask if he knows why you turn into fire. Tony, yeah, they're all moaning now we've come back to Earth. Is it not going as well this year so far? You take a seat at the table. I am Ophelia Lapwing, a traveller from Darkwood Forest. I come seeking knowledge. I started feeling unwell a few days ago and find that I spontaneously combust when feeling angry or in danger. Can you help me? The old man grunts. Sounds to me, my dear, that you are suffering some kind of curse. Fire elemental magic, no doubt. Either that or you are the spawn of a fire demon. But that surely cannot be. Ask him if he knows what's happening in Darkwood Forest. Do I look like some kind of quizmaster? Do you want to play or not? Last chance. Right. So we're paying 2 gold pieces So this is the... Alright. I shall roll the dice 3 times, and each time their total will increase. Your job is simple. Tell me the 5th number in the sequence. Ah! This one doesn't look so bad. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. These are squares. 5 by 5, so 6 times 6, 36. There we go. Okay, this is turning into football chat. Football chat. I don't know what you guys are talking about, so it's hard for me. All right, you've had your fun. The old man seems most displeased. If you're so clever, then perhaps I'll see you deeper within the mountain. Okay. So he is running away and buggering off. Step on the stars, not the hands. Right then, so we are getting into... What have we got here? I think there's a possible opportunity for a Zagor key in this room. There's the Jester. Enter the door to the north. No, there is no key on the hook. That's a shame. Right, so we're reaching now the river. So there isn't a huge amount left. Entering the cave is... Stop talking footy, Chris will explode. I don't mind it. I just, I'm just reading it out. I'm not really understanding it. Back to Warlocks. Back to Warlocks. Okay, so we have another bench that we can rest on. So resting on the bench in this particular area means that we have to fight the giant sandworms. These are kind of a pain, actually, this battle. I think what I'm going to try and do is blindside. Still got to roll for it. Ah, Tony, are you doing all-day board gaming on Saturday? I am most looking forward to it. I'm actually slightly surprised I won that. Maybe I should just take this one out while I've got the chance. Retmock, so if you don't rest, you don't need to fight. Yeah, I think if you skip that particular bench, you can just get straight across the river without the creatures appearing. It's only if you spend time on the beach that the sandworm appears, I think, off the top of my head. Okay, 11v8. What have we got? Oh, it's a draw. Ah, it moved. Oh, I still hit it though. That's cool. Oh, you're running a Splatoon 2 tournament qualifier for the something NP UK finals, of which winner goes to rep at EGX. Cool. Ramok, I hate this fight. I always lose more than I gain from the bench. Yes, I already have. Sad but true. Let me just do a little move. Yeah, that was probably a good choice. Let's move to here. Do the ethereal feint. And attack. No, and attack again. There we go, that should be it. I need to just double check. I need to double read up on her moves, because I've forgotten what some of her stuff does. Right, so ethereal feint cannot be parried or blocked, and it automatically wins any clash. That's what I thought. I was surprised when it... Oh, NP UK is Nintendo Players UK, new name for Street Pass UK. Oh, brilliant. Okay, that's cool. Test your skill. We all know what number we don't want, but I'm not going to say it. Good. Okay. so this is just checking in the... So there's a... there's something hidden in the hole. I can't remember what it is. Oh, 20 gold pieces and a potion of strength and +1 luck. That means we are now up to a hilarious 4 potions of strength. Oh dear. Goblins. So, it's a shame you're not coming, Tony. Oh, Tony, is this a rogue type game or story led? This is very much story led. So did you ever play the Fighting Fantasy game books? So this is basically a PC version of the old Warlock of Firetop Mountain game book. It's basically the book adapted as to like a dungeon crawl, so it's quite linear in terms of story, but it is roguelike in the sense that you play it multiple times with different characters and you kind of learn about all the different stuff that's going on in the game. So I guess it has roguelike elements, but I wouldn't have said it's the most roguey of things. Yeah, Tony, it's a shame you're not coming to the board gaming day because I'm planning on bringing Tiny Epic Quest, which is the new Tiny Epic game, which is their take on a kind of Legend of Zelda done as a board game. So you have your meeples that you move around a fantasy landscape, and there are goblins that pop up out of the ground that you have to fight. And what you do is you learn spells and you quest through temples to gain magic items like swords and bows, and there's a little imp that followed, like a little fairy that follows you around. There's a lantern, there's a boomerang, there's panpipes that you can play. What time will I be there until? I am planning on being there, hopefully, as long as my wife doesn't complain too much, I'm planning on being there until it closes. So if you are coming on later, hopefully I'll see you. But no pressure, mate. I appreciate that you're doing other stuff. Right. How much gold have we got now? 80 gold already. All right. I'm going to risk the bridge because I've got 11 skill, and I'm pretty confident that I can pass the skill test to cross the bridge. That's fine. That's the simplest. That's me being a cheapskate and not not paying the 2 or 3 gold to use the boat. Tony, okie dokie, cannot promise. I'm at a wedding Sunday in Swindon, very early start. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Explore the shack. Although, of course, Beeston, I'm thinking about it, I kind of look at it from my point of view, because, like, for me to drive to Beeston is like a 45-50 minute journey, so I don't go to the board game shop unless I'm going to be there for a good length of time. But I guess for you being in Nottingham, it is just kind of round the corner. So yeah, well, if you pop down, it'd be good to see you. I'm also trying to work out if I'm going to do the role-playing day, because I might take the Elite Dangerous RPG along and run a session. I might do that. Haven't decided, but I don't know if I'm free yet. But yeah, the lovely EDRPG guys have given Lave Radio and me, because I worked on the podcast for them, basically the final version of the role-playing book in a PDF format. The actual physical versions won't be available till January, but yeah, I've basically got the complete RPG now as a PDF. So I'm looking forward to running some games with that. Okay, explore the shack to the west. Now, what we don't have a potion of invisibility, which means I'm going to have to fight the dog, which isn't the worst thing. But it is a shame. It kind of feels like an unnecessary kill. Those are cocked dice, surely. Look at that. That's cocked. I'd re-roll that if that was at home. Oh, another thing I've been playing recently, Tony, really interesting, because I had it as a recommendation. I've been playing a single-player board game called One Deck Dungeon. It's really good. Really enjoying it. Basically, it's a game where you have like a deck of doors. It's kind of, I suppose it's a bit like Munchkin in the sense that you have doors and you flip them over and there's like a monster on the other side of it. But it's more like you have a character that you level up. Every time you kill a monster, you gain that monster either as XP or an additional die for your dice pool, or an additional skill, and you basically work your way down through 3 floors of the dungeon, and through each additional floor there are additional dice slots that you have to match for each encounter, and you fight your way down through 3 floors of a dungeon and then fight a boss. It's really good, really good. It sounds good, but a bit like Munchkin. No, it's not like Munchkin at all. It's a dice game. I mean, it's a game where you, I suppose it's a bit like Tharsis in a sense, because each monster that you fight will have, say, 6 dice boxes, each with a number in, and you have 3 different kinds of dice. You have magic dice, strength dice, and agility dice. So your dice pool is made up of dice of different colours. So you roll all your dice, and then you have to try and match your dice to the slots on the monster, and the boxes that you fail to uncover do like time or health damage to you. So it's really good. I'd really like to work out some way of doing board games as like a live stream, because I absolutely love doing them. But I can't quite figure it out. Oh, he's going that way. All right. Well, this is the I think the luck favoured me a little bit in that battle. Oh, actually, I can, although you're not watching the stream, are you? But if you want, I can bring up a picture of One Deck Dungeon, because I shared an image of it. I joined a group on Facebook called Solo Board Gamers, which is a Facebook group dedicated to kind of one-player board games, or playing other board games in like a one-player mode. Oh dear. I kind of knew that eating the pickled eggs was -1 luck, but I thought with it being a new character, surely one of these days I'm going to find a character who likes the pickled eggs. There must be one. Okay, use the boathouse key. It's the skeletons! Talk to the skeletons. Tell them you're their new boss. Okay, so this hasn't changed. This has not changed at all. So if we examine the skeleton's tools, we'll get maybe like a stake or something. If we search the drawers, we might get a Zagor key. Let's search the drawers. Still no Zagor key. Sounds good. My budget has gone this month. Spent £50 on Pokemon cards. Yep, I'm said again. And then picked up my copy of Chocobo Crystal Hunt and ended up buying the expansion as well. I'd like to play that. I'd like to play Chocobo Crystal Hunt at some point. Looks nice. Let me see if I can bring up this thing. Let's have a look. Let me just try and pull this up for you. Pictures, mobile photos. Ah, it's going to take ages, isn't it? It's going to take absolutely ages to iterate this folder. Sort by date. Let's just see what's going on here. Oh, that's that. Okay. It's a very pretty game, is it? Yeah, I got that impression. I'm not sure I can find it. Let me just look in here. Mobile photos. Was it this month? Yes, it was this month. What's this one? Nope. Ah, you can never find these things quickly when you really want to. It was before then. It was before then. It was before then. Oh, I've already copied it, haven't I? I've already copied it into this other folder. There it is. Okay. Pictures, board games, One Deck Dungeon. Here we go. So this is transform Stretch to screen. So this is One Deck Dungeon. Can't see me. Ooh, there you go. This is One Deck Dungeon, Tony. So if you look at the Twitch stream just at this moment, I've lost the chat window as well. This is basically One Deck Dungeon. So what you have is you have all of these cards you can see that have additional stats on. Those are all monsters that I've killed and taken as additional items, which increase my dice pool. And then below my character, these are all the creatures that I've killed and turned into skills. I don't know if you can read the text on them, just about. So yeah, basically, you know, those icons, the swords and the boots and the little blue diamonds, I get d6s for each of those. So you roll a handful of d6s, and then you have to use them to fill. You have to use them to fill the things here, basically on the. This is the boss battle, and then some of the monsters that I killed I turned into potions, so you can consume these white potion cubes to do some of these effects. And it's actually got quite a nice kind of legacy mode where you, if you play it as a campaign, every time you complete a dungeon, you can tick off these boxes on a little pad, and then when you do the next level up of dungeon, you can actually gain like persistent upgrades. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a really nice game. I picked it up off that deadly buying and selling that Facebook buying and selling board games group, which is absolutely deadly because I just keep finding things on it that I kind of really want. Price, it's about, I got it for 20 quid off that Facebook group and it was completely unused. I think you can get it off Amazon for 25. Hello Bewilderbeast and hello Space Lenin. And I've just realised there was a question earlier. Is that Selezan's RPG, or is it the other one? The one I got sent is the other one. That's the EDRPG, which is the Spider-Mine Games one that we did the podcast with for Lave Radio more recently. But I am also a backer of Dave Hughes' RPG, so I should be getting that at some point. And I'm planning on running both games and sort of, you know, compare and contrast the different systems. Hello, Bewilderbeast is saying, what's all this? This isn't actually the game I'm streaming tonight. This is just me showing Tony a photo of a solo board game that I've been playing, which is called One Deck Dungeon. So if you'd like to know all about One Deck Dungeon, go and have a look. It's a really nice card game. And as you can see, Tony, I've fallen into the hole of covering my cards. I've started buying deck shields for everything now. It's a sickness. Anyway, back to Warlock of Firetop Mountain. So, we know all about this. This is the shop. There's Oriana. Hello. Hello, hello. Inquire about the Warlock's treasure. She doesn't have a key for me either. I'm not going to get very many keys, am I? Should we sell something? Because I've got a ridiculous amount of stuff. Oh, it's interesting. You can't actually sell the maze jumper. Yep, I would do the same, Tony. Bewilderbeast. Oh, yes, you mentioned it the other evening, I think. Tony, I sleeved Chocobo as soon as I got it. Yeah, I've actually discovered Tiny Epic Western. I've discovered the need to sleeve the cards because actually, certainly the building cards, you do quite a lot of like sliding them one underneath each other, and I noticed that they were starting to. I was feeling like they were going to catch, so I've sleeved Tiny Epic Western as well. Bewilderbeast, weren't you going to interview the devs of this? I did. I interviewed the creative director of Tin Man Games after my stream last week. So we've recorded that episode of Remote Outpost Games, and I was editing it today. So that should be out hopefully soon. Yeah, Neil was really cool, and it turns out he already knows some of the special effect guys and Dave Pearson. So there's a small world for you. I only know it's from Dave Pearson. It didn't come up in the interview. But yeah, no, Tony, it does make shuffling easier as well. And in fact, I'm going to bring along to the board game day my recent, not that recent, but fairly recent purchase. I got it in a charity shop, It's a really retro kind of 1970s, 1980s battery-powered deck shuffler. What I've noticed is that because it's got like a little spinning wheel that manipulates the cards, actually it can scratch the cards. So if you've got the cards in deck protectors, you can put them in the deck shuffler and only have to worry about the plastic getting scratched. Which is, I'm going to bring it on Saturday, along with spare batteries, because it's revolutionised my life. Retmock thinks there might be 2 mazes. Maybe you need both of them to completely skip. I don't know. That's interesting. What have I got then? I've got 3 potions of strength. I don't think I need 3 potions of strength. So I'm going to sell that. Talk about something else. How many can I sell? I can sell loads of them. I've just sold 3 potions of strength for 145 gold. Right, now I'm going to buy something. Can I buy anything that's worth having? I think I could buy a potion of fire protection. That might be useful. Could buy a potion of skill. Potion of invisibility. I can't remember if there's any point after this where invisibility is still useful. But having said that, it sells it to you, so theoretically it must do. So yeah, sure. I'll buy it. Ask about the domain of the dead. No, that's it. That's everything we're going to get from that. Okay, domain of the dead. Oh, there's something about this place that makes me feel uneasy. It's almost like you keel over coughing. The change begins as your head is filled with whispering. This place is evil. Yeah, we're turning into fire again. Suddenly you are once again aflame, your will completely given over to the entity that has entered your mind. This place, this domain of the dead, gives your host immense power, and you can do nothing. Okay. You glide up the steps leading up into the looming building, your flames lighting the cavern around you. You suddenly hear a high-pitched shrieking and the sound of leathery wings. Giant bats! Alright, who wobbles? Who wobbles? Everybody's wobbling. So let's use Flame Lance. 11v6. Yep, it's a good roll. Nice. And we're applying burn. I'm going to do Flame Aura. Ah, that's tragic. Okay, that one's no longer on fire. Let's try Flame Lance again. Ah. Oh, that one was burnt. That's why. Okay. Try Flame Aura again then. There you go. That one's gone. I think I literally had no attacks left. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Fine. And then it's going to die. I'm going to just move. Might as well just move. All right. Surrounding you is a strange graveyard. There are gravestones littered about and trees made from stone cast shadows upon the ground. A skull looks down at you from an archway. It appears to be the entrance to a crumbling bridge of stairs that traverses a large pit, glowing with an ethereal blue light. Your desire to continue on into this building of death and decay is strong. What I should do before we get too much further is eat some provisions. There we go. You begin to cross the vast, swirling, dark void. Swirling around you, below you... Can't read. Swirling around below you in the depths of the void are the trapped souls of the dead. The souls begin to rise before bursting suddenly forth from the void encompassing the bridge. Their wails fill your ears and shapes materialize in front of you. You have disturbed our rest, fire demon, one of the ghosts whispers. Now you must join us in our eternal slumber. Now, interesting. Do these ghosts take fire damage? Nope, they're immune. Oh, I remember how these attack now. So he's going to attack there and there. So I may as well move. Yes. Space Linen, you disturbed our sleep. Punishment shall be more sleep. Oh, that's annoying. I'm going to have to take a hit because the only option to me is to move. Unless I do that, I'm bouncing. There we go. My heart is like a fireball. Oh, I used to love that when I was a kid. Do you ever watch Fireball XL5? I feel like it's one of the Jerry Anderson things that doesn't get... Like Thunderbirds gets repeated all the time, but they don't repeat things like Fireball XL5 and Joe 90. I know Joe 90 as well, but it's definitely always Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet. But I think Fireball XL5 should definitely get a viewing, I think. And Stingray used to be on a lot when I was a kid, but that's another one that just seems to have, that doesn't seem to get revisited, which is a shame. Anyway. You have proven your worth, Ophelia Lapwing of Darkwood Forest. Enter the domain of the dead at your peril. The Lord of the Undead will not be as kind as we would have been. Right. Okay. Which way should we take our fire? I don't think we're going to get any choice. Flames lick the side of the imposing entrance as make your way inside. That's another typo for Neil. A strange stone pillar decorated with monstrous bones supports the room. There are paths leading to the left and right, and a wooden ladder to the left of the stone pillar leads upwards. You feel compelled to rise up the ladder by the strange entity that controls your thoughts. Okay, we're going this way regardless. You rise up the ladder, which leads to a trapdoor, crashing through it in a ball of fire and into a small room. Standing motionless in the centre of the room are 4 men. Their skin is a greeny-grey colour, their clothes are tattered and torn, and they are staring vacantly at the ceiling. One carries a club, one a scythe, one an axe, and one a pick. They are ignoring you completely. Yeah, Joe 90, I love that. Cannot remember much about it. Stingray was cool as well. Marina, Aqua Marina. It's so weird. Like as a child, it was so like, what is this theme music? I don't like the beginning. I understood like Stingray, Stingray. That made total sense. But then to have this kind of Sinatra-esque ballad to kind of take the story out was just, for me, was just really weird. So Joe 90 was about a super intelligent young boy who was like a secret agent. The thing that most cooked me onto Joe 90 was the fact that did you ever play the game Putty on the Amiga? I think it was re-released as Putty Squad on the SNES. The theme music for Putty was basically just a complete rip-off of the Joe 90 theme tune. So yeah. Anyway. Retmok, I love Joe 90 as well. I don't remember the others. Yeah, it's funny, Fireball XL5 is one of those series that I watched when I was so young. I actually can't remember much about what happened in it. I remember distinctly being on holiday in the Isle of Wight and there being like a kid's playroom and it happening to be on in the TV, like on the TV in the room at the time I was in there and me being very excited about it kind of thing. But yeah, I used to watch it. It was yeah. I'm trying to think what sort of was around the same time as. Like Pole Position was another one. Anyway, Flame Lance. Well, zombies definitely burn. Okay, 11v. Oh, there we go. Let's move to here. What I kind of want to do. No, that didn't work out so well. There we go. Yeah, what I'd quite like to do is get myself surrounded. No, it didn't work. Because if I can get myself surrounded, then Flame Aura works really well. Now I thought, oh no, Snake Eyes. I'm following you. I'm following you. Tony, I wonder if they are on YouTube or other means of getting them. I certainly suspect there are other means of getting them, because I'm pretty sure that Stingray at the very least had a DVD release. I can't totally remember. Now, interestingly, so this is the pool of cursed blood. This is the pool of cursed blood, right? So normally you drink from the blood. If you drink from the blood, it normally says like, you are now cursed. But I can't help feeling that, but being a fire demon, I am already in some way cursed. So there's a part of me that feels like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Let's find out what the worst thing that can happen is. You dip one of your flaming hands into the sticky warm liquid and raise it to your fiery lips. The liquid is blood which bubbles and burns to your touch. It tastes wonderful, energizing your elemental form. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm glad I drank the blood. See, if you're already a demon, what's the worst thing that can happen from drinking blood, right? You climb the stairs and find yourself in a dark crypt of some kind. At one end is an altar and various coffins are strewn about the room. Suddenly, sensing your presence, a vampire lurches itself from one of the coffins, hissing at your fiery form. It then gives a grim, deep laugh and raises its pale hands with a flourish. You look in horror as ghosts begin to rise up from the floor. The Lord of the Dead is summoning more servants to combat you. Okay, we're fighting the vampire. And some ghosts. Okay, I'm going to move to here. Ouch, I'm immobilised. Ah, oh, how dare you move. Okay, 11v9. I need a good roll. 10 is a good roll. I should have done Flame Lance. You know it. I'm going to move. Oh, this looks good. Flame Aura. That's very satisfying. There we go. Okay, let's just move out the way of the vampire until we've figured out what his deal is. Oh, that was a good guess. There we go. And being a vampire, he burns, which is handy. Nice. I have defeated the vampire. The body turns visibly older in front of your eyes. The face looks 50, then 90, then well over 100 years old. The skin rots and the eyes decompose as you watch. You notice a movement coming from the creature's chest. As the remnants of the vampire decay, a small black face breaks through its chest. It resembles a small black shrew, but as it frees itself and unfurls its wings, you realise it is a bat. You lunge at it, but it flaps away into the darkness. Spiral staircase leads up and down. You have an urge to head upwards. Okay, that's fine. So we're not doing the Mirror Demon. As you climb the last steps, you are dwarfed by a dark shrine to the first Lord of Chaos, Death himself. The grim, imposing statue is holding a large bowl that represents the entire universe held in his grasp. It looks as though he is demanding a sacrifice. Ignore it and continue onwards. You feel compelled once again to rise. Fight the ghouls. Again, ghouls should burn, so I'm pretty happy about that. 11v8. It's a good roll. There we go. There we go. Brains over brawn. Every time. Oh, so I need to keep an eye on this. I'm actually pretty low on stamina at this point. With the last of the ghouls burnt to a crisp, you fall to the floor. You feel weak and within seconds your flames extinguish. The whispering stops. Once again, you are Ophelia Lapwing. That is the longest I've remained in elemental form. Perhaps I am losing control after all. I think I enjoyed it. You leave the chamber, walk down a short passage and reach a staircase going up. Continue forward. Okay, sit and rest on the bench and consume provisions. Plus 10 stamina. Okay, good opportunity to use the maze jumper. Oh, in fact, it didn't even give me the option. It just does it automatically. You wake up and find yourself lying on the floor of a small room that contains a large wooden door. Oh, and another bench. Sit on the bench and rest. Drink a potion of fire protection. Bewilderbeast, is it always 10 stamina from provisions, or is it using a hidden dice roll? So in this game, if you just rest at a bench and don't use provisions, you get 5 hit points back. If you rest at a bench and use provisions, you get the 5 for the bench plus 5 for the provisions. If you just eat provisions while you're walking around, you get 4 for the provisions. So you actually gain a bonus hit point by using provisions at benches rather than just eating them anywhere. So yeah, it's not a dice roll. It's always, if you use provisions, it's always 10, and if you don't use provisions, it's always 5. Okay, so we have, I believe, the Dragonfire spell, but let's just check the Chivos. Because I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on any lovely achievements by skipping the dragon fight. No, it's Belther Frostmantle that wants to kill the dragon. So that's fine. I'm really worried though that the DLC is out and there's still a lot of 0% on the achievements, which implies that people aren't getting them. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about that. Oh well. I'm using the Dragonfire spell. Yeah, DiMaggio! Okay, so this is the... this looks very bad. I don't think this is going to be easy. Stride confidently. So... Skeletal battle. This one's kind of a pain. I'm just going to wait here and attack, I think. Blindside. Blindside is the best side. Okay, this probably isn't a good place to stand. Let's try that. Oh no, no, no. I'm just going to move out of the way, I think. This is really not the place to be. There we go. Oh, that didn't work. So we need 11v6. It's good. It's good enough. How many has he got? He's got 4. Ah, just attack him. 11v7. That's not enough. Now it's interesting that that says guarded. I was always under the impression. I was under the impression that with her attack that it couldn't be blocked, so I don't understand how the. Not sure that's right. Tony's, is it King of Tokyo? Yeah, I'm just standing there and letting everyone in a circle just wail on me. Okay, it's Zagor. The old man looks at you, accepts your greetings, and bids you sit down. You sit at the table and notice that he is glaring at you. The whispering begins again. Not now. I need to find answers. In your mind's eye, you see the shadowy figure. It stalks your soul, fire flaring from its nostrils and flailing a black whip. The crown on its head gleams from a blue light being given off by something or someone else. You focus your attention on this light and see a young man dressed in robes of rich velvet and gold. His eyes are aflame with a blue glow, and they are fixed directly on yours. His hands begin to sparkle with a strange magical energy. You snap back to the room. The young man you saw in your mind is now sat in front of you. This must be the true form of Zagor. The Warlock gives you a mocking laugh. You seek me to find out why your beloved forest is dying, right? Yes. Are you behind this evil magic? The Warlock laughs once more, getting to his feet. You feel uneasy. You think that I am behind this? The spawn of a demon has the gall to say that I am behind this? Spawn of a demon? What do you mean? You, my dear, have a lot to learn. The demon who stalks you is closer than you think. He is a fire demon from deep within the abyss, come forth to the earthly plane. So the entity that enters my mind is my father. Worse than that, he created you, an earth-based foil for some evil plan of his. That plan to destroy Darkwood Forest, I presume. Amongst other things, he'll start with your beloved forest and move on from there. I'm sorry to say that you are the cause of Darkwood's curse. Getting up in anger, you scream at the old man. That's not true! That's impossible! The whispering begins again in earnest. Getting up in anger, you scream at the old man. This cannot be true. Oh, no, sorry, I've already read that. There is no longer any rational thought within your mind. There is only the desire to kill. Blood for the blood god! Okay, he's attacking, so I'm moving. I see you. Okay, 11v13. I need a good roll. Better than that. Ah! Yeah. You suck, Zagor. You suck. Oh no. Flame Lance. There we go. He's burning. It's 11. Oh, it's a roll again. It's a roll. 10 is a good roll. No, 9. Oh no. Oh no. And I can't move. And I can't attack. Ah. Come on, I want him with the fireball. That's it. I'm moving out the way. Oh, one more and he's down. Yay! Skulls for the Skull Throne. Yes. You have defeated the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Flames engulf Zagor. Then suddenly he is gone. All that remains is a pile of tattered rags. The remnants of his clothes. You stagger backwards, the flames extinguishing quickly. The whispering stops. So it says I lost 6 stamina. So once again I did the stupid thing of going into a battle without replenishing my health. Particularly since I had a backpack full of potions of strength. So that was careless. Groggily you get to your feet and stagger to your only way forward. The door at the far end of the room. The door opens to reveal a small dimly lit room. Yes, we know about this. We have... Oh, we have no keys. I thought I had one. Oh well. Sadly, you have not found any keys to access Zagor's chest. Still, the blood of a fire demon courses through your veins. You have only one choice. Become the new master of Firetop Mountain. You begin to laugh. This soon becomes a mad cackle which becomes deeper in pitch and echoes throughout the mountain and can be heard in the village of Anfield below. Orcs, goblins and beasts alike stop in their tracks, awaiting your orders. You are the creation of a fire demon. You are under his control. You are now Ophelia Lapwing of Firetop Mountain. Alancia is on a path to certain doom. Your adventure ends here. So actually, death is your reward for completing the game. Well, there you go.